Welcome back to the Fraud Street Fandom Podcast. Take two. Not sure if anybody was listening, but we had some technical difficulties where me and Cameron had like a tornado siren going off in our ears. Brock is remote today. He's having some issues with his day job. So, yeah, we'll blame it all on him since he's not here. But yeah, we got a great episode for you guys today. Continuing on in our playoff coverage, both Philly teams are still alive for the time being. And yeah, we'll get into some baseball. We had some firings last week. We'll see how the team's done, both record wise as well as, production as, offense, defensive. I mean, not really defensive, but pitching or
offensive pitching.
Mostly offensive and pitching.
Starting bullpen.
Yep. Now we'll cover some of that and kind of see how Donnie Baseball's been doing in his first week as manager. Not too much NFL news this week. It's been kind of quiet since the draft. I know as we get closer to June 1st is kind of like the AJ Day, so we'll see what comes out of our favorite reporters and go from there. But yeah, let's get started. We'll jump right into some Phillies coverage. So last week when we were recording, I think you and Brock were kind of watching this game as I was doing play-by-play for the Sixers. But yeah, Luzardo was able to bounce back and kind of get back to form. I know he's been struggling as of late, whether it's having big innings that he's giving up or just running into trouble by just not being able to get out of jams.
Yeah, they were saying, because he was giving up a lot of hits and then the inning would kind of snowball. They were saying that I guess he might have been tipping his pitches. So
that's one thing. Last year too.
Yeah, that's one thing, but it's that's something the pitching coach should be able to hey,
or him himself. It's all right, position the ball a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it was, especially if there's a runner on second base, they could literally see what he's going to throw, and they're signaling to the batter what's going to come. And if you give any MLB hitter an advantage of at least even knowing what pitch is coming, they're going to more than likely hit it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's that, then obviously it's all right, you got to fix something. It can't be this every,
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Once a year, you have to figure it out. So, but no, they were able to come away with a 7-0 win against the Giants. They answered back after the Topper firing. Turner goes 4 for 5 with 2 runs, so clearly he didn't like Topper. And then Luzardo's line was he went 7 innings, 0 earned, and 8 Ks. So, good game to kind of get things righted, at least from the start. Let's see if they can continue that through the rest of the Giants series, but also they had the Marlins coming up in the weekend. So moving to game 2, it was actually the rain out. You were up at that game.
I was trying to go
to the game. So
yeah, really kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
So they changed the start time from 6:40 to 6:10, and I'm like, oh damn, we're not leaving Camden until 4:30. So we're going to be probably missing some of the game.
And then they also had the Flyers in town for game 6. So it was going to be a mess.
It was sure. Yeah. So my buddy, Tim, one of our listeners here, the winner of our fantasy football league this year.
Yep.
He actually was up there with his mom. And once he got in the game, they admitted his ticket, and then they were like, hey, the game's canceled. So he at least went and got the automatic driver head. So
okay, cool.
But just accepting a ticket and then saying, hey, the game's canceled, by the way. So we were on the way up. I think we were right past Chester on the way in. So we were probably 30 minutes from the stadium.
Did you get all of them, or did you just get the one?
I did. I'll get it to you when I get mine.
Yeah.
So we ended up just turning around. We were on our way up, and then Brock, you were texting us as well because he called me. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, the game's canceled. We're sitting in traffic on the way up."
Mm-hmm. So probably like everybody else.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to the Flyers game.
Yeah. So unfortunately, still haven't been to a Phillies game this year. Was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask because they rescheduled it for Thursday. Did you not go up?
I couldn't make it up. Everyone else was working too. So they did a day-night doubleheader.
Was your game the 5 o'clock game? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so they kept the 12, which was the original. Well, it was 1 o'clock. They moved it up an hour.
Yeah.
And then they did the other one at 5. So, they moved the rain delay to the 5 o'clock game on Thursday and then pushed the original game on Thursday up an hour. So the first game, they were able to come away with a late inning win, 3-2. Stott had a big RBI triple in the ninth, bottom of the ninth to tie the game. It was 2-1 at that point. And then Crawford, who's been just Mr. Clutch, came up again, clutch with the walk off to win it. And
he honestly can get the ball off the ground. Reminds me of some of my golf game. It just finds the way through. So I mean, he's done it twice. I think both of them were just ground balls through the infield.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, this one was the shortstop got it, just didn't have the arm to get over because it was he had a range over to his right to get the
some speed
and throw it over, and he just didn't get it over there in time. So Crawford, off here, I think there were some stupid stats, that they always left this up there. I think he was like the first rookie to have 2 walk-off hits in his first month of baseball in 100 years or something crazy.
He's been the trustworthy guy. Give him an opportunity, and it's like the biggest thing is putting the ball in play.
Yeah, he does.
Especially if the infield's drawn in, it's like there's a lot of openings there that you can just get by. And, he does hit the ball for the most part pretty hard, and especially on a line. So you're bound to find open grass. Doing that. So good for him.
But then he has the speed to beat it out too.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good for him to come up in those moments and not shy away from them, and come up when the team needs you. So that was big, and I'm sure we can all speak to it. But in typical Phillies fashion, if they win the first game of doubleheader, they're certainly dropping the second one. But they were able to get up to a pretty early lead in this one. Wheeler was on the mound for this. No,
it was Sanchez, and then they did a bullpen. Miza started
the next day.
Yeah, it was a bullpen game. I think it was Miza started, and then they had Richards come in. They had a couple different guys.
I think I'm getting the 6-5 games mixed up. Bohm ended up coming up with a sac fly in the bottom of the 10th to ice the victory there. Schwarber had a pretty good game. He went 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run.
It was earlier than I think 4 for 6 today.
Yeah,
great day for him.
And the funny thing that Schwarber has is 2 doubles and a home run. He only has 2 RBIs. So it's not like the guy we're going to talk about this weekend, who when he actually comes up and hits the ball in the ballpark, he's actually producing runs. So, moving on, they were able to take a 3 from the Giants, which is a good start. I mean, it's kind of what we talked about they needed to do, especially after the managerial change. So, moving into the weekend, they had Marlins for 4 in Florida. Game 1, they came away with a 6-5 win. So that's the one I was confusing with the other one. This was the one that Wheeler started, and in typical Wheeler fashion, he goes 6, only 1 earned, and 8 Ks.
And the home run was kind of bullshit. It hit off of Crawford's glove. It's back to the glove into the fence. But it was a close play. I mean, luckily it was just a solar shot. Almost, maybe a couple inches away from it being a 6-inning scoreless game.
Yeah. So the guy that I was mentioning earlier is my boy Stott. Had a big 3-run home run in that game. Let them get out to an early lead. Bolin comes in the 8th and tries to blow everything away, giving up 3 on 2 hits. But they're able to hang on with a 6-5 win against the Marlins. Continuing on to game 2, offense must have thought it was a day-night doubleheader because they didn't do much of shit. They ended up losing 4-0. Painter went 5 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 3 earned, 7 Ks, and 3 walks. But Max Meyer was, he was dealing. He went 7 innings, only gave it 1 hit. I think it was that was no earned and 7 Ks. So for whatever reason, I think Stubby is the only one that had hit during that game. So your boy brought.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The vibes are back.
I cheered on that hit.
We'll get into that later. So they're able to split the first 2 with the Marlins going into game 3. Kind of mentioned it from the last Tuesday's game. Luzardo again kind of pitched really well in this one. Phil scores 6 in the first inning, so at that point you're kind of like, all right, just don't fucking blow it. Like you have a lot of run support right here. It's just pitch your game. There might be a level of comfort there if you can kind of you're not pressing, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Again, Stott comes back up with a big 3-run home run in the first inning. So clearly, just based on spring training stats and this series, Stott loves playing in Florida.
Yeah, they probably could have left him there. taking either the
I
short
was
or
just
second
gonna
baseman
say,
from
yeah.
Miami. I mean, they're
bring up
batting
your
both, I think,
Texas.
around 290 or 3 something. Both of those guys down there in Miami. So
Yeah.
could have easily left them there. But,
Mhm.
I mean, it came up clutch this, the past week for us.
Yeah. Hopefully, sparks a little, fire under him to where he can carry this through, for at least a little bit of a stretch of a run. So Luzardo, like I said, pitched pretty well. 6 and a third innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 8 hits. So kind of what we talked about before is like he's giving up the hits. He just limit the damage. He had 10 Ks and 0 walks. So I actually put a bet in. I was in Tennessee this weekend, so I actually put a bet in with my, what I had left in my, I think it was DraftKings or BetMGM, one of the two. What I had left, and I was like over 7 Ks. So yeah, we able to come through and even with a cushion. So, but yeah, Phillies were able to win game 3. Going into game 4, typical fashion, if they score anything more than 2 runs in one game, they're going to follow it up with more. So the only run in this one was a Harper solo shot, but Nola looked good. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good bounce back from him because I know he's had his struggles this year. He's been good, but he's also struggled. So it's been the normal Nola as of late. Yeah, we have no idea what you're going to get. So he ended up with 6 innings pitched, 0 earned, 5 Ks, no walks, which I like to see because that has gotten him into trouble quite a bit.
Yeah.
And certainly the RAV 4th inning. And he only gave up 5 hits. So Phillies were able to take 3 or 4 from the Marlins, and then they swept the Giants. So 6-1 since they fired Topper, which brings them to 15-20 on the year. Currently 4th in the NL East. They're 9.5 games back of the Braves, but they're only 1 game back of 2nd place in the division. So kind of this was what we wanted them to do this week so far, of try to get back up to 500. I think that's the first goal for this team. And what can they do after that? Going on a little bit of a run.
I mean, look at the schedule. It looks like we should easily do that.
Well, that's kind of, why it made sense, I guess, if they went into the offseason thinking that, hey, Topper, you barely hung on to your job. If anything goes wrong, you're going to be gone. This is the time to do it. You had your off day. Obviously, Dombrowski was talking with Cora on the Sunday before he fired Topper. It's just, it's silly that they had to fire him because if you're planning on getting rid of him, then why even bring him back? Just start the year with Mattingly. But anyway, the team themselves, obviously, they realized that, hey, we have a little bit of a better stretch. We were going against the Cubs, 7 times already this season. We've gone against the Braves 7 times this season.
And the Braves.
The Giants were a tough series when we were.
The Braves are also 25-10 right now.
Yeah, they're crushing.
Historic.
So that's where it's like, now's the time. You fire Topper, you get Don Mattingly in, and then you got weaker competition coming in and going on the road to some worse teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can get things back on track, and it seems to have worked so far.
So far, yeah. So speaking of so far, you want to go over some of the stats you pulled together from this last week?
Yeah. So first, let's see. Like, I don't have comparisons to what they were doing. I could just speak of the past week of how the Phillies have done. So Trey Turner, he's 7 for 27 with 2 RBIs, 5 runs, 8 Ks. Schwarber, 7 for 25, 6 walks, 9 Ks. He had a stretch there where he struck out 8 consecutive at bats. He only struck out on the 9th, but
during this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after the 5 for 6 day of doubleheader, he struck out the next day of bats. One game he was over 5 or 5 Ks. The next night,
against the Marlins, I guess. Yeah.
So. I mean, he's batting 280 because, he had that 5 of 60, day, and then just a ton of strikeouts.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's more alarming is it's strikeouts or solo home runs.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, when you have people like he was on earlier this game, he had 2 runners on, and pretty sure just watch one right down the middle. It's like, what do you said? Like, what are you looking for?
Don't know what he got crossed up on there. That was,
yeah.
So Harper 8 for 26, so he's actually been hitting very well. He's the one that's kind of got the offense going. Garcia, he's 7 for 23, so he's right up there. Marsh has been crushing, 7 for 19. Boom, your boy Brock, he's actually batted over his average. He was at 140 earlier last week. It's probably at like 160 now. He 5 for 23 in the past week. Stott,
At least
he's
there's
3 for
improvement, I
21.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
10 for 21 with 2 home runs.
yeah.
Yeah,
Stott,
so that's yeah, that's very tough. I mean, at least he's making the most. I mean, those 3 home runs are probably more RBIs than Schwarber's had over this
Yeah.
7-game span. So
Yeah.
Crawford, he's gone 6 for 22. So he's right around like the 270 average. I think that's again where I kind of like imagine him being at the end of the season.
Yeah.
270, 280 would be great out of him. Obviously, there's not much power out of him, but at least he's got 4 RBIs.
but at least, so I'll give him a little credit there. It's like we had a guy right before him, Ross, that seemed like all he wanted to do was hit home runs.
Yeah.
And if this guy, at least he understands, okay, my job is to get on base.
Yeah.
And it's not to hit the ball out of the ballpark. The guys behind me are going to do that. So
Exactly.
at least he's trying to, play his role in the actual lineup.
Marchand, total 0 for 10. Welcome back, JT.
Yeah.
Throughout the past week, we finally got JT back.
Well, on top of that, it was Stubby too. They brought him
Yeah.
up, and I think he's probably had more production than Marchand all year.
Oh yeah.
He went down to the minors, it was a AAA, and he was actually crushing them. He was
Yeah.
over 1,000 in OPS.
OPS, yeah.
OPS, yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
With 3
Marchand-
catchers is wild.
I think
Sorry.
if one's going to go, it's got to be Marchand.
What's more wild? 15 wide receivers in the room, or
15 under 6 foot receivers or 3 catchers. So they
That's
asked
a
Matt
catcher.
about that because they did finally cut Dylan Moore.
Mhm.
He did not have a hit as a Philly.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 12 with 3 walks and 6 Ks in his tenure as a Philly.
another successful free agent acquisition by Dombrowski.
So they asked Mattingly about Stubbs and saying, like, why are you carrying 3 catchers? And he pretty much said, well, Stubbs can play second, he can play third, he can play left, he can play right.
He played left
It's
I
not
think against the Marlins a couple days ago.
Well, he had to, I guess, because Crawford had a migraine, I think it was. So he ended up he had the day off and they had to move the outfield around. Garcia, I think, played center.
Okay.
And then Reyes was playing and right or something.
Yeah, that was the 4
the
loss.
whole lineup. Yeah. So, and then I think Stubbs also like pinch running. He's kind of fast.
He's got some speed. Yeah.
So I think the Phillies will be either sending Marchand back down, or if he's out of options, then getting rid
might
of
be
him
TFA,
Stubbs. So sorry, Brock, you're going to have to deal with him. I hope so, at least, because I mean, at least Stubbs, he went.
They
2 for
brought him
9.
back, and they're 6 for 1, baby.
Yeah.
They're 6-1.
He was in when we won the 1 game against the Braves.
Ah,
He helped end the slot. Yeah. And then last night, Stubbs threw out 2 runners on base, so at least he's got a decent arm behind the plate.
Yeah. Well, I think all 3 catchers actually have they're good,
I was just saying,
pretty
they're
good
all pretty good at
defensively,
that.
and they all have some
Yeah.
cannons. To throw out runners.
But yeah, I mean, Stubbs, he's 2 for 9, so it's better than 0.
Yeah.
Speaking of 0, Reyes, he's 1 for 10. So
It was his debut, first at bat, home run.
well, that wasn't the past week, but yeah, he had 1 hit over the past.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that means he has probably 2 hits.
Yeah, I think 2 hits the whole season, maybe 3. Who else we got?
And that was actually off of Chris Sale. So it's like,
home run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
home
'cause
runs
that was
off
the
of
night you were
Chris
there,
Sale.
right?
Yeah.
Or no, that wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No. It was them after.
Moore, as we mentioned, he already got cut. He was 0 for 1 with strikeout. Shocker. Sosa 2 for 5. Again, they kind of just seem to fit him in when Scott's going. Scott's everyday second baseman was 50. Then they put in Sosa.
I mean, I guess the worst thing there is he only had 5 at bats. How many walks does it say? Or did you take that down?
He had 0 walks.
So it means he only had 5 at bats over this week.
Yeah.
So either they're facing a bunch of righties.
Yeah.
So.
And Stott had 21. Bohm had 23. The most out of anyone was Turner with 27. So
Yeah, and you're going to see that at your leadoff guy.
I think Turner had 1 day off out of this week. So, and then JT 1 for 6 since he's been back. It's 1 run and 1 RBI. So I mean, yeah, like you can kind of see like the players, they started hitting the ball a little bit better than they were.
Or maybe they took it upon themselves to be like, all right,
Yeah.
we're the reason why Topper got fired. We need to show the fuck up. And I mean, the one person that you didn't really put in that, breakdown was Harper. And I know he's actually done pretty well, even up to that point where I think he was batting 270, 280 going into. So I think he's continued that.
Yeah.
Like he's been the only guy. I mean, he has the home run in the one game that wins 1-0. He's got the solo shot tonight. So it's like, he's producing.
It's him and Marsh.
Yeah. Marsh has had an incredible.
He's our best guy.
He is. Yeah.
They're the ones that have been consistently producing. Lucia has picked it up a little bit, so we'll see if that can kind of last. But who knows?
Yeah. Do you have any pitching stats?
Yeah. So Luzardo and his 2 starts in the past week, he's gone 13 1/3, only 2 earned, 18 Ks, so 1.35 ERA. Obviously, his ERA before was like 7.
Yeah.
So it's gone down to like 5.
Yeah.
Let's go down to other starters. Wheeler, as you mentioned, 6 innings, just the 1 earned. Sanchez, 6 2/3, 2 earned. Nola, 6 innings, no earned. Painter, 5 innings, 3 earned. So that's a lot better than what it was, right?
Painter game, yeah.
So the starters have gone 36 innings, only a 2 ERA out of those, and 45 Ks.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they. Well, all right. If you go back to it, like we talked about the early part of the schedule and the 2 teams you're playing, and they were both very hot at that time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to put all of it on your pitching staff just because of what you're going up against.
Yeah.
But it would also be nice if our bats would come up a little bit clutch.
Yeah. So just some kind of production, right? Like it's not like we were losing 10-9. We were losing 5-0.
Blown out. A lot of it was the nothings.
Yeah. Or 6-1. It was not good.
Schwarber solo or solo because nobody else can get on. So
yeah, but I mean, like I said, they pitched 36 innings. They had 45 Ks. They only had 8 walks.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like I think we mentioned it when we were going through the recap. A lot of this was limiting walks, and it's like how many times we've said it before. It's like if you walk the leadoff guy, guess what? He's going to score.
So they only gave up 1 home run.
I think that's probably more impressive, but it's also the teams you're going against.
Exactly.
So we actually have a question in the chat. Hollywoods makes a return. He says, is it too late for the Phillies to recover the season? And who's the best fit to manage them full time going forward? So I think we say it all the time when it comes to April, May, that season's still young, it's still early. At this point, being almost 10 games out of the division, it might be tough. You're going to need a little bit of a slump out of the Braves, which could happen. I've joked with Braves fans before, don't blow it too early. Don't waste all your runs too early. So, I mean, we've seen this team a couple of years ago go on a tear during May and June where I think they were the best in baseball at one point, and they had kind of a shaky start that season as well. So not saying that they can't get hot and kind of go on one of those runs again. And if you're playing good baseball towards the second half of the season, yes, I think there's still a lot of time to kind of recover the season. I think we all kind of had them in the 90s wins.
Yeah, that's probably dipped down to high 80s at best now.
Yeah, unless they go on one of those runs. So I think
I had them at 3rd in division, but I had them getting the wild card spot.
Yeah,
so they can still do that.
Inflated with the inflated, playoff schedule too. It's like they're certainly not out of, playoff contention. I think they're 4 or 5.5 games out of the wild card at this point. So I think, like I said, a lot of that is, if you think about it, they're 5 games under 500 at this point. Yeah. So you get back to 500. A lot of the teams that you're seeing, like the whole NL Central, is 500 at this point, and they're all competing. They're all over 500, but they're all like kind of right there. So get yourself back to 500 and kind of see where you can go from there. But the upcoming schedule is kind of where I think Brock, you mentioned it. Like that's where they got to continue. They have 3 against the A's at home, and then they have 3 against the Rockies next weekend. And those are also at home. So you have a lot of games at home, which they've struggled so far this year, I think, with at home. But
it's surprising they lost more series at home this year already than they did all of last year, which is crazy.
Again, righting the ship, it's like, take advantage of these teams that you're coming in, take advantage of the home field advantage, get the fans back in the, stands and, build some momentum.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know, speaking of kind of, large leads, I think the Knicks, were they up around 10 games on the Phillies last year at some point? It might not have been 10, but I think it was like probably like 8 or 9 maybe, but they had like the best record in baseball at one point, and then they completely collapsed.
Yeah.
So obviously there's room to gain because the Phillies obviously came back. They weren't down where they are now. But there is the opportunity for the Bears to do something. Who knows if it'll actually happen?
Yeah.
But I know the Mets last year, that was a great start to that season, and then they completely
They kind of came back down to earth.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of season left. What, 120 games left?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we're what,
There's
35,
definitely
15, and
time.
20. So
as far as who's the best fit to manage them, me.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Put your name.
Yeah, of course. I'll get a PowerPoint presentation together and send it to Dombrowski.
Well, he might hire you just because he's going to get let go at the end of the year. So
to delete
no one listens anyway.
Yeah.
So
no, I think like Cora would be great. Obviously, he's taking time away, but like, who really knows what the best manager would be? Like, it's tough with. I mean, does Bochy ever want to come out of retirement? I know Harper's high on him. That'd be sick because he's a like proven manager, but he's old.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how much? We talked about it last episode. How much does a manager actually dictate players' performance? I mean, it's not their fault that they're not hitting the ball. It's not their fault that they're pitching
or setting the lineup and putting players on the field.
And you can only make so many changes. It's like a lot of it's more so on the GM in my mind. But okay, sure, Cora would be good.
Just because he's proven,
he is proven. But the thing about that is, all right, if they bring Cora in the off season, does that save Dombrowski's job? Because now he can go to Middleton and be like, I got my guy finally.
I mean, I think unfortunately Dombrowski's going to be here until at the end of next season is the end of his contract. Hopefully they do not extend that. Obviously next year in baseball, who knows what the landscape's going to be. But if they're going to bring in Nashville, I think he was one of the first guys. Yeah, exactly. He was one of the first guys to sign up to do something with the expansion of Nashville. So once Nashville gets a deal,
he'll move to be the GM there. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe why he's only extended to 2027, because maybe they're thinking that's they're going to announce their franchise and then he can start building a team from them. Obviously, they got a ton of logistics to get through as far as, they're not just going to put a team in there. They don't have a stadium, anything like that. So they have to figure all that out first.
Yeah, speaking of Nashville, I drove by the new Titan Stadium. Yeah, that thing is massive. Yeah, it like literally is like twice the size of their original stadium.
Nissan Stadium.
Yeah.
Did they demolish that one yet or not?
No, it's still up because they're not going to ask the Uber driver. I asked him when it was going to be done, and he said that it should be done sometime in 2026, 2027. They're going to open the 2027 season in the new stadium. So massive.
Yeah. I mean, all the stadiums are. I mean, even Cleveland.
Well, a lot of it looks like it's going to be a dome also. I think everybody's going that route so they can get super domes and stuff. Yeah.
Cleveland, I think it was 2030, they announced they're going to have a new stadium and it's a dome. And it's like, dude, it's Cleveland.
Like, and I wonder how much of it, like, it's not going to be like the MetLife Stadium with like the turf. I think it's going to be more like everybody's going to have like the Arizona where it's like they roll in the grass or whatever, and it's more of a true football field as opposed to what traditionally
games.
I know, especially like if you just think back to
not everybody needs a roof.
Like Eagles. Eagles have a ton of snow games that are just a blast to watch. Buffalo, same thing. Yeah,
they're not building it down.
No, I think their fans would burn the city down if they built the dome. Well, they love having that element there.
The funny thing with Buffalo, I mean, I know we got completely sidetracked here, but Buffalo, they actually built like their roof of their stadium, so it's not fully enclosed. It does extend out to keep the seats uncovered, but they have like it's like heaters throughout the roof. It's like 100%.
Oh, nice.
To keep it to where it's going to be like piling on. And then I think a lot of the fans probably loved it because every game that they were snowed out, like they'd have to come shovel and they'd say, "Hey, you want a free ticket to the game, or you want to like a beer and hot dog?"
Anyway, but I know like those guys are cool as shit. Like even the players, they know where they live. They're shoveling them out so they make sure they get there. And it's like good on them. So getting back to just the Phillies, I mean, Cora makes sense. I don't know. Like I said, it's just, you can almost put not anybody in, but maybe just a complete change of.
The Giants
voice
just
and-
hired I'm gonna butcher his name. I think it's like Lubalo or something with an L. He was the college coach for Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
And he was the first manager from college baseball to go straight to the MLB.
Mhm.
And it does not look great over there. So it's not like you can look at college success.
Oh, he was highly touted too. Because I remember people were interested in him for the Phillies.
Yeah. So we'll see. I still think I got a shot.
Yeah. Right. Well, Brock, what do you think?
I mean, right now I would say they're okay with Mattingly. I mean, I wasn't really on board with Cora because of the cheating, so I wasn't really
Yeah.
on that side anyway. As for like other stuff out there, I mean, you basically just have to wait and see who else loses their job at that point,
Yeah.
just to see if there's
I
any
mean,
kind of
Mattingly
change
said
around.
he didn't want to manage.
That's the other thing too.
Right.
It's like,
I
Mattingly
know
might
he
be
said that, but
interim,
it's
but-
like, but I mean, but he's there for the rest of the season at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like moving forward, it's like, all right, next year and beyond, like, what do you do? And I don't think they have
we
a guy
keep saying the lockout. We've all been
that's-
pretty adamant. I don't know, like, and we don't
Yeah.
have to play.
We might have more time to think about it. So maybe Cameron can have
Yeah.
a little bit more time to put his PowerPoint presentation together.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, upcoming matchups with the A's and Rockies. So we'll see if they can take advantage of those two teams. The A's are currently, well, at the time last week, they were first in the AL West at 15-13, so only 2 games over 500. And the Rockies were last in the West, 3 games under 500. So it kind of just shows you, how these 500 teams are, and the fact that we're 5 games under 500. So, before we get into our playoff teams, I'll do a quick fantasy baseball update. So last week, I took a loss, pretty bad loss actually. Get to it here. I ended up losing 8-2 to Team Trash Pile. So I think that was kind of like I guess you would call it a position round, where we were, I think 3-4 at the time. So that dropped me all the way down to 8th place. So it's like the NL Central, where everybody's within a close game of each other. So, and then let's see, bro. You lost to Matt 5-2, and Cam, you're the only guy with a win that week. 6-2 win over Justin. So that brings the standings to, I'm just going to cover us. Cameron, you moved up to 5th. Brock, you're back down to last place. And as I mentioned, I dropped from, I think I was in 4th. I dropped all the way down to 8th. So.
All right, so we just got another chat message. I'm going to send a text out to you guys. So apparently, Celia Hollywood's just reached back out and said maybe bonus rate the new Reading Fighting Phil's Reading iced coffee jerseys. So I just sent you and Brock a text with the image of it. So I know I mentioned earlier in the pod that I had not been to a Phillies game. I did go down to the Shorebirds game, by our south in Salisbury on Sunday. So that's the first baseball that I've seen this year. We were walking through the team store there, and I noticed that they had a Scrapple like jersey and hat and stuff. Scrapple sandwich. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So like the minor leagues, they love to get into those like local
themes,
food items, things like that. So the iced coffees, that's got white
I like
girl
the hat.
basic bitch written all over it. I'm not an iced coffee fan myself. They kind of, I'm not the biggest fan of these CDs, but
yeah, I haven't seen them. I didn't get your text.
I like the hat a lot, actually. The hat's pretty cool.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, the hat is pretty cool, like those little character type things. But yeah, coffees, it just looks stupid.
nice coffees.
Yeah, I don't really get the rest of it. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know where they come up with these names, like Iron Picks. Like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, I mean they'll do like a lot of bacon on their uniforms.
But it's like, how do they get Iron Picks?
Well, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
yeah, Reading. I guess it's close to the.
And then they have what is it? The jersey teams, the Blue Claws.
Yeah.
So
Blue
I mean,
claws,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
At least the blue claw like
Yeah.
crabs.
So yeah, I mean,
I think
I
blue
think it's
claws are
cool
the
that
ones that
minor
play the
league.
shorebirds a lot.
Yeah. So I think it's cool that minor leagues do this. You won't see me wearing an iced coffee's jersey.
No, I mean maybe back in the day, like I know when I was in school, people would always try to get like the college hats that were just different. Like the Oregon State Beavers was a big one for obvious reasons. But it's like, and then the Gamecocks, that was another one that was always a go-to when we were in school. So those would be the type of hats that you would go after. I don't think they're readily available as well, like back when I was in school, but finding some of those minor league teams that people don't really have the hats of,
Yeah.
like iced coffees and things like that. But
Yeah.
not,
Apple sandwich episode.
yeah.
So shout out. Share those.
Yep. But yeah, going into this week matchups, I have give me a second here. I am matching up against Tim. Currently up 5-3 on him. Tim is in first place in the league. So I'm just gonna, do commissioner duties and just call this one over and take the win right now.
Yeah.
Let's see who else we have here. Cameron, you were playing
I'm playing Justin. I'm 6-2 right now.
no, that was last week. You're playing Matt this week, right? He's not. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, I'm playing Tots this week.
Yeah, that's Matt. Brock, you've been struggling, bud. 14 and 40 and 6.
And then I
No, I had
I
you
just
guys'
seen that
matchups wrong. Last week, sorry, Brock. Last week you guys played each other. And
I
came with
thought
a
so,
6-3
but I
win.
wasn't.
Yeah, that's my bad. I was looking at the wrong week, so that's what messed me up. But yeah, you guys played each other last week. Cameron came up away with this 6-3 win. So yep, Cameron's playing Justin now. He's up 6-2. Brock, you're down 5-2 to Matt, and I am currently beating Tim 5-3. So
I made some roster moves today.
Yeah, I have injuries.
Yeah, I made some on Sunday.
I have injuries.
Yeah, mine too.
So crazy. Yeah.
Yep. I have Acuna that's on the IL now, and I have Yelich that's on the IL. And I got both.
Every time I pick up a new guy, they go day to day, and then I can't replace them because I have a guy on my bench that's out for like 2 days. So then they're both playing the same day, and I'm just like, well, I'm fucked. Like I can't change anything else.
Yeah, my IL is just Edwin Diaz and Justin Verlander. I picked up Schwellenbach. He's on the 60 days, so I don't know when he'll be back. But Mizorowski did leave this last week. He's been killed this year.
Well, did you guys see the report of Tariq Skubal? And he's going to get surgery.
Oh my god,
so he'll be out.
That's awful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So we'll see how the Phillies end up, as well as our fantasy updates. Hopefully we can go on some runs here, get all three of us back in the playoffs. That makes it certainly interesting.
So I gave everyone a head start. Now I'm going to start actually managing the team. Show you guys how he's.
There you go. Your image just came through on my phone. So
got everybody right where you want them. Yeah.
Yep. So speaking of playoffs, let's go right to the hockey team. So Fly Guys. Last we left off, they ended up losing game 5, 3-2. Forcing a game 6. They would be at home. This was the night that Cameron was going to go to the ballpark, and it was just going to be a mess leaving. So Phillies did you a favor, and it's like, hey, don't worry about it, buddy. So game 6 at home against the Pens. At this point, I'm kind of like, all right, they need to win this game. If they go back, if they win 3 and then lose the next 3 to go to game 7 in Pittsburgh, I don't think they come away with that series.
I was saying the same way.
This one was actually a very competitive game, and honestly, both goalies weren't good. Seelovs, which is funny because like the first 3 games they had, wasn't Skinner, and it's like he didn't look terrible, but like he had to change something. It's kind of like not the managerial change, but all right, put your other goalie in and see if you can spark it. Seelovs was good. In the games that obviously the Pens end up winning. So he had 31 saves with just the one goal in overtime from Cam York, which was a fucking bullet.
Yeah.
So it's good to see them, come away with that, especially in overtime, just because, I mean, honestly, they were being dominated.
They did not
third
deserve
period and overtime
at all. I swear to God, I'm sure this stat is out there somewhere. I didn't look it up, but like the time of possession of that puck for the Flyers was maybe like 60 seconds in the third period and overtime.
Yeah.
Like the Penguins just had the puck the whole time.
Well, it's very evident in just kind of what I was about to say of, Pittsburgh dominated both those periods, their period and overtime.
Yeah.
They outshot the Flyers 23-11.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Yeah. And then they ended up outshooting them overall in the game 42-32.
Yeah.
So, that third period and, overtime, it just shows you how well Vladar played. And he had 42 saves, and he ended up posting his second shutout in the playoffs, both against the Pens. But I mean, he certainly came to play. He's been a superstar in that first, series. He had a couple of mental breakdowns, but other than that, like he's
standing on his head.
Yeah.
He's the only reason why we're still alive is because he's been playing so good there.
Yep. Yeah, so the game was actually pretty clean. I mean, there was only 4 penalties between the two teams, especially in like a game 6. It just seemed like they didn't want to get into any trouble and give the other team an advantage. But, both teams had 2 each. So for the most part, like I said, pretty clean. Flyers were just able to, how many times we say it, though, it's like you have just that momentum to where you're just peppering shots here or there, and it just takes one fluky, like you get the puck down the other end, and they end up scoring. And we might talk about that, in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it's just they were able to it was actually a pretty good pass. Like York went over to Michkov gave it back to him, and just upper 90s, baby.
Yeah.
So
celebration was sick.
Oh, it was. Yeah, threw the stick in the stands. It gave right. It's like you don't expect that. It's like in baseball, they hit a home run, they just throw the bat in the stands.
Yeah, it wasn't like lofted either. It was like a line drive.
No, he whipped it.
He launched it into the crowd.
So I guess one of the older Flyers fans, like they ended up giving it to him. So he got the stick, and then he actually gave it back to Cam York the day later, which is cool because he said he wanted to frame it. And they gave him another like autographed game used stick and like tickets to the next game, and
shout out Cams.
Yep. So yeah, Cam York came in clutch. So maybe we'll have a Cam as the new manager for the Phillies. Let's see. So no, they're able to fend off the Pens and advance to the next round. I think we certainly all believe that this team, the Carolina Hurricanes, are much better than not just the Flyers, but the competition you have with the Pens. And that was kind of evident on Saturday. So the Flyers came out pretty flat, and they looked very slow. It looked like Carolina was, and they were pretty much well rested too. I mean, they dominated the Senators and were able to kind of rest a little bit, but they just played on a different level.
Yeah.
Flyers weren't able to muster much of any offense. They only had 9 shots on goal in the first 2 periods, and they were outshot 21-9. So it kind of just goes to show you're not going to be able to score unless at least the puck's in your zone a little.
You got to put pucks on that.
Yep. So
you got to at least shoot it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, Kane scored with like a minute and a half in the game, so that was kind of frustrating. So I was at Barstool, Nashville, I guess you would say, and they actually had the 2 screens. I was there, the Sixers on the one, and they had the Flyers on the other screen. So I'm trying to go back and forth, and I'm watching the Sixers game. I look over, I'm like, God damn, they already scored.
Yeah.
So they're down 1-0 pretty quickly, and then they followed up with another goal. What was it, like 4 minutes later? So within 6 minutes, you're down 2-0. So you're a pretty good Carolina team. And then second period, they ended up going up 3-0. I know the Flyers did have more momentum in the third period. I honestly didn't watch much of it. I was
I completely switched to the Celtics to the Sixers game.
Yeah.
I was just sitting drinking, so I was like,
well, I was doing the multi-view. I was
trying to do the multi-view too, and it's impossible to watch hockey on a multi-view.
It's so difficult because like you really need to like listen to hockey, and they were getting just manhandled. So I was like, all right, let me focus on the Sixers. This is the game that means way more.
I think the Flyers actually changed over to the Sixers game too.
So it just got bad. But I was like, all right, let me just go straight Celtics Sixers. Let me just get rid of the Flyers.
Yeah,
I can't do so. Bad Flyers pod by us.
Yeah, well, we're fair weather.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, a pretty bad performance from them. They ended up losing 3-0. So moving into game 2, which was last night, you would hope to get a better performance out of them, at least, acting like you are supposed to be in the playoffs and actually competing with this team. And we actually got it. They got up early. They scored 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, which was nice to see. Because they haven't scored a goal, I don't think, all playoffs in the first period. It was always second period.
Yeah.
And, with this Carolina team, it's like you're not going to be able to just waste a period. You're not going to be able to, for the most part, hold them.
Yeah.
Just how much more skilled they are than you. So they're able to get 2 goals with, it was a great shot by Drysdale. Like the goalie pokes it out, and he's just right at the top of the blue line, comes up with it, and just back in.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just pure effort by Coots, charging the net and just getting the rebounds and, putting it in. So he had an amazing game.
Yeah.
So if anybody it seemed like he was on the ice for probably 40 minutes.
It was a lot. Yeah. I think they did. At one point I was watching last night, they did say that he was out there for like 19 minutes into the third period. Like he was out there a lot.
And he was great.
Because of the penalty kick.
Yeah, he was great on the dot. Like he kept winning faceoffs. We talked about it during the Pens series of like Crosby would just own them on the dot. It's like they can never get to control the puck, whether it's in their zone or the other zone. But to see Coots, it seems like Carolina's not too good there either. That's what they were saying. So that might be one of the bright spots that we have to where we can try to keep pucks in our zone. But no, he had a tremendous game. So yeah, they go up early 2-0. And then, the Canes start to answer back. So Ehlers gets a slap shot on a power play, goes right by Vladar. One of them, I don't remember if it was this one or the other one. It's like it almost like short on him a little bit to where like he almost had the glove there and it hit him in the arm and kind of bounced in. I think it was the Ehlers one, but I mean he had a clean look at it, so it's almost like, come on, dude. It's like I know
glove's got to be there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then they tie the game halfway through the third on, a shot from Jarvis. The Jarvis guy, I know nothing about him, but he was a thorn all day. Like, drawing the one penalty on the tripping call and then, still following through and almost getting a shot or, the puck in the net on just cleaning up. And then, answering back with that, goal in the third period.
Yeah.
So, contrary to the Penn series in overtime, the Flyers actually had a lot of pressure in overtime. They had a lot of opportunities, and it seemed like they were very close to just putting one by. And it's like going back 1-1 to Philly, which would have been huge.
Yeah,
and then similar to what we talked about, it's just they have so much momentum. All it takes is, and it was such a weird play. It's like I don't know if it was Stahl in front. It wasn't Hall. I think it was Stahl, but basically he had a guy behind him and he's literally just pushing the defense right in the back of Vladar. And the guy just goes right behind him and it's like, get the puck out. And it's just some fluky, Vladar can't cover it. It goes off to the side. He's out of position. And then, Hall's there to put it in the back of the net. And it's like, that's exactly what we talked about of, kind of like the Flyers goal. It's like, you're outperforming your opponent and they get I wouldn't even say a lucky goal, but it's just not what you would think would happen.
Yeah, no, it was very frustrating because that they, again, kind of how we were talking about, the Pens dominated, periods 3 and overtime and game 6. That's what it looked like the Flyers were doing. So the Canes in overtime last night, they were possessing the puck. They were taking shots on net, just nothing would fall.
Yep.
And then Vladar, he kept getting guys pushed into him. He took a dumb penalty to get it 4
on the slash, yeah.
But it's like also
it's like
fucking guys.
The guy's leaning on him. It's like so you guys aren't even quick enough to blow the whistle to all right. So obviously it's interference.
Yeah.
It's like maybe he doesn't have to slash the guy to get the fuck off him because you're eating the whistles at that point.
So I think the Canes, they just kept charging the net and they kept falling into him. They were all around.
Well, we were doing it too. Like I know Martone kind of hip checked Anderson in the helmet on one time. And there was another time that they came up close on the, to the crease and he checked them back. So it seems like the goalies were kind of over the aggressiveness, I guess you would say.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but obviously the Canes are a very good hockey team.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to be at your best to beat them. And they were at their best yesterday. They just weren't able to put anything, by Anderson. It's like in the overtime, we mentioned that, they dominated that period. They outshot the Canes 15-8.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things where it's like, Konechny has that, breakaway, and you have a couple other opportunities there, and it's like these guys like, why can't you elevate the fucking puck? Like, it's literally they're trying to either go 5-hole, whatever, or it's like it just goes off of his blockers, and next thing you know, it's a Canes, return where they're back in your zone. So it's frustrating to watch, honestly, because it's like I know Michkov had one where he tried, or Michkov or Zegras, where they tried to like slap it out of the air and just weren't able to get anything on it. And Anderson was able to come up with some big saves there. So, again, contrary to the Pens game, this one was very sloppy. There was 15 total penalties, but not just weighted on one side or the other. I mean, we had 7, they had 8. A lot of like mental mistakes with like delay of games where they're just like throwing the puck out of the over the ice, and then too many men on the ice. I think both teams had one of those penalties, and that's just like, all right, come on, guys.
Are we over in power play? Well, yeah, we are against Carolina, right? We play goals yesterday. We got shot game 1. I don't think any of them were power play goals yesterday.
No, we did have one. I thought Drysdale was one of the two. Yeah.
But I think the power play numbers are not good for the Flyers this season.
Yep. No, and then the other one was like the 3 high sticking calls that kind of stick out to me too. A lot of that is, and you see it on both sides, but if they feel anything towards their head, they're just throwing their head back and drawing the penalty. So I know they had the same guy called for I think 2 of them against us, or for us, but by the Canes. So we'll see how that continues through, if they start to either call the embellishment or what they end up doing there as far as referees go.
Yeah, I mean we're coming home now. What is it? Tomorrow night they play.
I think it's every other night. Yeah. So, which is annoying because it's the same night as Sixers, not just Sixers every other night, and going to follow the Flyers at this point.
Yeah, well, it's got to change when they get home. But I guess they're a game back.
Yeah,
because Flyers were already at 2. Let me pull up the schedule real quick.
Yeah. So anyway, just over that game, even though the Flyers outshot the Canes 15-8 in overtime, the Canes had still outshot them 42-36 in the overall game. So
Flyers or that's Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Yep.
Flyers are Thursday.
Flyers are Thursday now.
Okay, so they get another day break, and then Sixers are tomorrow. Sixers next.
Yeah, but they're still in New York.
They're still in New York.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's where they're going to cycle it back to where it'll be every other night. But no Flyers.
Yeah, Friday's the first Sixers game at home.
You going? You don't have a New York area.
Am I going to the
some tickets?
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh man, that would be crazy. That would be something.
Mm-hmm. Then you could be like, I'm part of this Fraud Street Fandom podcast. My name's Cameron McCoy. But no, Flyers are down 2-0, so we'll see if they can bounce back at home. I think they need to win both at home to kind of get back into the series. If they go 1-1, I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to last in Carolina.
Yeah, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, if necessary.
Yep. So, all right. Before we get into the other playoff team, I see Hollywood sent us another message. This one's going to be nice and quick. Philadelphia Union are in dead last in the MLS. Any comments, tips on how to improve? So I'm going to actually call up from the minors our, it's a soccer expert, Kevin. So I will relay this message to Kevin, and he can give us a breakdown of, how the Union can get out of last and what they can do to, let's say, right their ship. Maybe Topper could manage him.
Yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about the Union. Not a soccer watcher. Brock, I'm assuming you never took Kevin's advice to become a soccer watcher either.
No.
Yeah. So the main problem that they have is that in the off season they had a really good run last year. They still fell short. I believe they won the Supporters Shield, which is like the best team in the regular season.
The Knicks won that.
Yeah, they got a banner. So they were really good, and then they sold a lot of the players out. So I think what the union's problem is that they're trying to make money off of their players and bring in the young kids that they have in their academy. And that's where they're at now, is that they've gotten rid of a lot of their good players that were established in the MLS and sent them over to Europe. And now they're stuck with a bunch of
Yeah,
kids.
so they're basically on loan, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They might
do
just
they get
be-
them back, or
I don't.
Yeah.
There's
that's
no rules on
where
that.
we'll get our expert Kevin to chime in and give us a breakdown of.
But I do know that there was one point the Union had gone like a couple of games and they didn't even score a goal. And yeah, they completely went from first to worst. They flipped a lot of the roster. I'm sure the guy Bedoya that's been there for 15 years is still hanging out somewhere being called in.
I mean, Phillies did the same thing, worst or first to worst.
Yeah, so I don't, not too much on the Union, but I mean, who knows? I think that they need to kind of stop trying to turn it into an investment and actually build a club that's there to compete. And if they fail, they just rebuild. And that's what they're trying to do now, I guess. We'll see what the young kids get.
Yeah.
I almost forget that they exist and said until they get brought up during this. Like that's how
During the
little I
Union?
watch soccer. Yeah, like when
Kevin
when
already
that
seemed
question came up,
disappointed.
I was like, oh wow, yeah, I guess the Union are. I was just like,
Their
I
season runs
texted
from like
the guy who asked the
February
question was like, I
to,
don't think any of us know about the Union.
yeah, I think it's like February to October is their season. So
It's a long season.
a
Yeah,
lot of games, and then there's a lot of random tournaments in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And players get loaned out and play for their countries, all kinds of stuff.
Yep. So continuing on to our Sixers. So I think going into this series, I didn't have much hope that they were going to be able to beat the Celtics. And kind of where we left off after recording, currently I think it was game 5. And after I was going, play by play of what they were doing wrong, we were talking, I think, at the Phillies at that point. So we kind of left off with the Sixers. They were able to actually come away with a big win in Boston. Embiid, contrary to what I was saying earlier in the night, he actually turned it around in the second half and pretty much dominated. So they're able to come away with a 113-97 win in Boston, which, is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Especially after the last few just performances they had just in the series, getting blown out by 32 of the games at that point.
It really was just, if the Celtics are off, they're not going to win, and they were off.
So they outscored Boston 63-40 in the second half. Embiid had 33 points, Maxey 25. Grimes actually had a pretty good game. He had 18. He was 4 for 7 from 3-point, which you haven't seen him much at all this series, or even in the playoffs for that matter.
Yeah.
And then kind of to your point, Cam, it's like Sixers shot 50% from the field, 35.7 from 3. Whereas the Celtics shot 40% and 28.2. So if they're not hitting their threes, they're not hitting their field goals.
Do you have the total amount of threes they took that game?
I don't know.
Okay, it's probably around 50. Like
I think
they're
averaging
50 threes a game. And again, if they're not falling, they're not falling. And that's what was, their
Achilles heel.
I don't want to say that because of Tatum, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
According to Yahoo, they took 39 3-pointers that game.
So even low.
Even lower, yeah.
39, yep. Yeah, they were.
But no, that brings game 6 in Philly. You're still down 3-2 at that point. So you obviously need the last 2 if you're going to win the series. So game 6, I think, was probably one of their best performances for the Sixers. At home, Maxey ended up with 30 points. This is one of PG's better games. He had 23 points, and then Embiid, 19 points, but he had 10 rebounds, 8 assists. So it's kind of like that typical, almost triple double for Embiid that you want to see him at. And then the shooting percentages there slightly in the favor of the Sixers, not too much. Like the Celtics were 41.9 from the field, 29.3 from 3, and then Sixers were 43.8 and 33.3 from 3. So just edging them out a little bit, but they were able to force game 7 with the 106-93 win at home. So, going into game 7, game 7s, the Sixers aren't very good at all in game 7s, let alone just the first round. So I think one of the big surprises going into this was that Tatum was out of the game with a knee injury.
Yeah.
So I think they announced that about 90 minutes before the start time. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think I read somewhere where Jaylen Brown didn't even know till 45 minutes before. So
Yeah, he knew.
that guy just seems clueless.
What is he late? Why did he not? Was he not there?
Yeah,
The team wasn't talking about it. Like they announced it online, but he just
Right.
like, how do you not know that your team?
You're sitting next to him in the locker room. It's like, hey, you gonna put your jersey on today?
Like, come on, dude. You knew.
Yeah. So that was a big highlight. But Tatum being out, he's been one of our, let's say, Sidney Crosby's of basketball. Like especially game sevens and closeout games, like he shows the hell up. And,
Yeah, I mean,
have him not on the opposite side of the court has been, was tremendous.
The biggest thing is, we took Miguel Fultz.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the biggest thing.
we also missed out on Jaylen Brown too. So
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown had a very good game, regardless of what ended up happening at the end. 33 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Derek White also had a really good game with 26 points. I think a lot of those points were in the first half.
They were early, yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of shut him down towards the second half, which is what they need. The Sixers did lead this game for the most part from start to finish. I think coming out of half, Celtics went on a pretty good run there to where they actually took the lead for, I think it was a total of 30 seconds.
It was.
Sixers were able to get it back and not give it back. Get it back and not give it back to them. But I did enjoy to see, Maxey took over late in the game. And he was being aggressive to the hoop and, either getting the free 2 points that they're giving him or also going to the line. So I thought that was tremendous because there's a lot of times that, especially when down to the wire, they're just pulling up for 3 for no fucking reason, like, especially if you have the lead. So I was happy to see that. And then, he ended up with 30 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. I think probably one of his better performances in the playoffs, especially when it comes to a game 7. Embiid was great, 34 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. And VJ, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So it's good to see, not only Embiid having a good performance, but the 2 young guys with, Maxey kind of being the focal point now, but also VJ coming up, as a rookie and forming against a quality team.
Yeah, I think VJ had 5 threes that game.
Yeah, so it's good to see him back because there was a time that he couldn't make anything earlier on in the series. So just going back to the shooting percentages, the Sixers did really well this game, which is evident in the final score. And plus also the Celtics, I think towards the end, they were 0 for 12 or something like that, I think.
It was terrible. 2 for 13, 2 for 18.
Something ridiculous, yeah. So Sixers ended up shooting 47.6% from the field and 39.3 from 3. Celtics shot 39.8 and 26.5 from 3. So Sixers were able to complete the, game 7 win and the series win with the 109-100 win in Boston. So I think more impressively, they won 3 games in Boston.
Yeah.
Of the series. So neither team played good at home. Sixers just the deciding factor was the one game they won at home that they had to. So it's just early on in the series, get blown out by 30 points in 2 of the 4 games. And you have Embiid come back in game 4 and just seems like, I think we mentioned it, like everything just slowed down. And it's like it seemed like they just wanted to run everything through Embiid as opposed to letting Maxey and others kind of distribute.
Yeah.
But, they changed the game plan and it seemed like it worked, moving forward. So,
I mean, honestly, the Celtics just didn't have an answer for Embiid.
They did.
Once he came back,
once he got going, because early on, like when he came back, like he kept missing all of his normal, turnaround jumpers and
jumper at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Once he got obviously back into game speed, it took a little bit to adjust, but they just did not have an answer. And that was incredible to see. Props, Joel. We kind of asked you a little bit on the pod. Yeah, I mean, they had all the size until Embiid came in, right? Like it was Drummond and Bona that they were going against. And they completely dominated all the boards. The Sixers weren't getting anything offensive out of the center position. And then once Embiid came in, he made a difference. And shout out the process.
Yeah, did you hear his post-game comments about they're asking Peyton Pritchard about oh, what do you think about Embiid? And he was like, oh, we don't really care. It doesn't about him. He's not on the roster right now. And it seems like Embiid took that personally because
Jaylen Brown. So let me get to Peyton Pritchard real quick. So when Embiid did his press conference after, then he was like, yeah, number 11. He didn't acknowledge him as Peyton Pritchard. He said number 11 on Boston.
Mhm.
So he also was just like, that little guy.
The little guy also had a game himself.
Right, he did.
That was game 4, might have been when Embiid was back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like Embiid was just like, okay, I heard your comments, like talk that shit, but I'm here and I was a problem. And then Jaylen Brown went to Twitch. What, the day after the game?
No, it was literally after the game.
Oh, it was that night.
I think it was that night. Like,
Yeah, it was the same
he
night.
probably did it in the locker room.
Got it. So yeah, I mean, good on Jaylen Brown for going in there because I guess apparently he goes to Twitch and streams and pulled up some highlights and talked about the game. I mean, him and Embiid were going back and forth throughout the game. Like the announcers kept bringing it up about like the shit talking between the two of them. Embiid kind of had a little bit of a late foul on Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown was, but yeah, I mean, Jaylen Brown kind of gave him a little bit of flips afterwards. But then he also took shit on Embiid
For being a flopper.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he does it too.
yeah. I mean, that's
They all do.
everyone does it. Except Kirby. Sorry, Brock. Kirby wasn't a flopper.
Only once LeBron came in the league, that's when flopping was more popular.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. LeBron's the main one. Speaking of soccer, there you go. They flop. Yeah, see, we can talk. That's a little bit of soccer.
There we go. So yeah, we'll cover that after we're finished with the NBA. So Sixers advance and they play another, let's say, not even friendly foe in the Knicks, a team that we've matched up with before in the past, and we'll see what comes out of it. So, game 1 last night. In typical Knicks fashion, Brunson dominated. For whatever reason, that guy just has our number and he can't miss.
Yeah.
I have some other stats down the way that I'm going to get to, which are alarming, but I also don't know how sustainable they are.
Yeah.
So this very well could be. This game could be an anomaly. Obviously, the score's kind of absurd anyway, but just getting through it, Brunson, he had 35 points, 27 of which were in the first half. It seemed like,
honestly,
honestly,
only played 3 quarters.
Yeah, well, so did the Sixers.
So he didn't
and
play
actually, I don't even know if they played 3 quarters. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But 27 of which were in the first half. It seemed like the Sixers, very similar to the Flyers, were very slow. They couldn't get anything going in the first half, and they kind of built themselves into a deficit. Cat didn't really have a great game. I mean, he had 17 points, but again, I think they sat most of these stats are based off. Yeah, most of these stats are based off of just 2 or 3 quarters.
Yeah, Cat had early foul trouble, and then they pulled him. So
so he had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and then Bridges had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. So
speaking of flopping, I thought Cat died there for a minute.
Oh yeah,
he fell down.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up because I had a buddy message me and I was like, "Relax, I'm not even like it was a bad flop. Like I'm not even." He was like, "Man, get Cat out of here." He's like, "I'm like, I'm just watching the game. I'm not like saying he got hit. Like I'm not
braced his ball. I mean, he did land on the
Anyways.
ground. He braced it a little bit, but then he acted out there for a minute.
They landed on that tailbone.
Oh yeah, he
That
did.
was just
His boyfriend railed him up last night, so it's sore.
I think the only highlight for the Sixers there, it was more of a funny one, was when Oubre was like next to him. He was kind of sizing him up a little bit. So that was about the only highlight the Sixers had in that game. So yeah, just going through some of the stats for the Sixers. Their eventual starters in the third, they only had like 5 or 6 minutes on third period or third quarter before they just basically everybody put the bench in. So PG had 17 points, Embiid had 14, Maxey 13, VJ 12. So a lot of it's just they're probably not even shooting well, which leads to kind of one of the stats I wanted to point out and get not only Brock's thoughts, but also Cam's of what do you think's going to be the trend for the series. So the Sixers shot 41% from field goal range, which is actually pretty good compared to like just the stats that I kind of went over in the Celtics series, and 36.7% from 3-point. So it seems like their shooting percentage wise is very consistent with what they did with the Celtics. I think the anomaly here is the Knicks shot 63% from the field and 51% from 3.
Yep.
So how sustainable is that moving forward?
Talk your shit, bud.
I will say that. Okay, I was going to say if we're sustainable is that the last 3 games against Atlanta, they also whooped them. So like it's not really like a 1-game anomaly. Like they've done this 4 games in a row now. So I mean, it's possible that yes, they could have a dud at some point. And playing the Sixers, we split in the series this season. So it's not, I'm not saying it's going to be like that every game. Yeah, that's definitely not going to be true. Yeah.
No,
What else
and
was
if
I
it comes
say?
down
I
to
was
more
gonna,
of like let's say a 50% from the field and 40 or 30, and the Sixers are actually shooting theirs, that's where I think the games are certainly going to be a lot closer. It's not going to be a 40-foot or 40-point
yeah.
blowout or whatever it ended up being.
No. Mm. Well, I did see also too. Like, I'm not. This is not me talking shit. I want you guys to. What do you think about this? I don't know their names because I don't watch the Phillies press con or like the post game for the Sixers. But the one guy on there said that you guys had so much emotion from winning Game 7 that you guys weren't ready for it being Monday because everybody was like, "Well, how dare Adam
Maybe
Silver
that's in the Xfinity
schedule it?"
Mobile Arena because the Flyers had the same excuse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe that's just
yeah,
those teams at this point. I mean, I can see it, sure.
yeah.
There's been a lot of pressure on Embiid and plus his team of getting out of the first round. So the fact that they were able to actually,
Right.
and plus on top of that, like, they go into it, they beat the Magic to kind of advance. And it's like, all right, so you advance to play the number 2 seed Celtics, which always have your number, or you're going to advance and play, Detroit if you end up losing or whatever. So the lineup against the Celtics, I speak for myself. I didn't think they had a shot. I thought, okay, maybe if they win one, maybe. But also when the series started, we didn't know if Embiid was going to come back and what level
Right.
of
We all
Embiid
said
you were
that
going
about
to get.
the appendicitis. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So having him come back and like what he actually looked like against the Celtics, I think was promising for Sixers fans. I do believe just based on the first matchup with the Knicks, as opposed to the Celtics, Cat plays him a little bit tougher than the 2 guys in Boston. I think it's not going to be as easy for him to make the same shots that he had before. But they also have a history where I think Embiid has pretty decent numbers against Cat anyway.
I mean,
Well, Mitchell
honestly,
Robinson
so
also could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just, and I
yeah,
said you guys hack them. Yeah.
yeah, that was going to mention that as well. But I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, it was a hangover game. Like they did go out and finally beat the Celtics. They finally got one right. It was the first round. They've never made it out of the second round. Here we go. We got to go face the Knicks.
Yep.
You look at the rest of the East, like the Cavs and Raptors, that was going to Game 7,
Mhm.
and then you look at like the Pistons, Magic, that went to Game 7. Like the other 2 teams were like that were supposed to be the top, contenders, have not played very well.
Yeah.
The Sixers beat the Celtics. We're all high and beats balled out the past, Game 6 and 7. That's awesome. They come into New York. It's a letdown.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, you guys shot the lights out at home, so it's kind of tough. Like if you're the other thing that kind of annoyed me with this game too, especially early on, was like offensive rebounds. We're not getting any of them again, and it's like that was one of the things that they changed in the Boston series is that they're being more aggressive, especially on the offensive side, and then certainly the defensive side. It's like how many times do we see on the defensive side with Boston, especially early on, that they would get their own offensive rebound and then dish it out for another 3, and they're taking 3 or 4 3 shots in the same possession basically because they can't get the damn ball down from the board, and it was kind of
letting
evident
Josh Hart
again.
jump over them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's all effort and want to. So I think that's something they got to look themselves in the mirror again and be like, all right, let's get the effort back. Hopefully, that's not another 30-point loss like they had before, just because we do, for the most part, have our entire team back as opposed to only half of the roster or half of the series.
And honestly, your boy Bridges, what the fuck, dude? Why are you rib checking?
I was just going to ask that. Okay, I was just going to ask because I'm not saying it was.
Well,
but,
I was surprised.
Okay,
that the
I know
Celtics
your
didn't
answer,
do
but Brian, did you think that was a dirty play when he ran into his stomach?
Honestly, all I saw was the aftermath where Embiid kept kind of like going with his ribs.
Yeah, the whole possession.
So I missed that completely because at that point I was full flyer mode.
No, I mean
got
honestly,
you, yeah.
if a Sixer did it to a Knicks player, yeah, it's basketball. It's a contact sport. It is what it is. I'm just going to give you shit about it because we're
and table
No,
mates.
I'm
fine.
not mad at Bridges
No,
for
yeah.
it. It's just like, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
ain't no
I mean,
reason
that's
for that. You guys are gonna win
gamesmanship.
this.
It's
You're-
gamesmanship.
You're
there.
winning this handily. Don't need to come over here starting all the
Mhm.
belly chicken people.
Yep. Yeah, so, not a good performance from the Sixers. Certainly as a Knicks fan, Brock, you're like, hey, you win your first game at home, that's what you're supposed to do.
Hey, it's one game, right? Exactly. Yep. They won game one.
So hopefully we have a nice long series moving forward. Next game is tomorrow night, I guess what we said. So
Knicks and 6, by the way.
Knicks and 6.
Just throwing it out there.
I like
See?
6.
He's even giving those Sixers too.
Yeah, he's giving us 2. So let's just see if we can get some at Madison Square Garden. Maybe we're the away team.
Yeah.
So we'll start with tomorrow night. Yeah. So we have a couple more comments in the chat. So Hollywood's been blowing us up. We do appreciate you sending messages. This is a nice little change of pace, and us all just patting with each other. So he says, me versus Kevin soccer trivia. Winner gets 4th mic and a spot on the pod. Yay or nay? So the issue I have with that is none of us are soccer experts where we're going to be able to put any trivia together. Short of going to
We wouldn't
Gemini
even know what questions to
AI
ask.
or it's like give me Copilot. So but I do like the little banter amongst listeners. So I don't know. Maybe we can put you guys into contact and we'll come up with a friendly wager that you guys can do, and maybe we can
like who's the
have
GOAT,
some-
Messi or Ronaldo? There you go. There's a question.
come with
That's
PowerPoint
my soccer
presentations.
knowledge.
Yeah. So, but no, we can look into doing that. We could talk to Kevin and see what his thoughts are, and go from there. So, if you want, send us some mailbag stuff. We can run that through with Cam and everything else.
On the socials.
And then what did you say? To be fair, Nurse is away on leave for his brother dying. Oh, I didn't know that.
Did not know that.
He left
happened.
like 4th quarter. Yeah, it happened last week, but he left like the 4th quarter, and he was back today. I seen it, like it was announced this afternoon that he had left
That's sad.
at some point.
Seen that. That's sad.
No, it is, yeah. So sorry for his loss. I know Sixers fans have been frustrated with him, but it's always tough to lose a family member. So I'm sure that was weighing on him a little bit. I don't necessarily think the team, maybe.
Yeah.
But thoughts are with him and his family at this time. So
Yeah, it said
Cam,
that
you have anything on mailbag?
he left. Oh, sorry. Oh,
Go ahead.
No,
I was
you're good
updating the
about
Knicks
that.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, it says that the brother died last week unexpectedly. He left after the game to go to Iowa for the services and expected to rejoin the Sixers later on today. So he's back today. So he'll be there tomorrow night for the game.
Yeah, well, like I said, thoughts are with him and his family during this time. So hopefully, I know it's going to be tough, especially tomorrow too, to kind of come back and get your thoughts together to coach a team. But at this point,
Definitely.
Maybe the team needs to step up and bail their manager out. How's that sound?
Yeah,
sounds like Philly.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess one thing I wanted to point out is we have a golf outing that we're sponsoring later this fall, or no, later this spring, a couple weeks. So we will be playing at, I believe it is Southern Delaware Golf Course.
Yeah.
It's for the Harrington Parks and Rec. So me and Cameron will be joined by two of our listeners, and Kevin and Tony. And what we're doing is we have these nice little polos here, little golf polos. You can see the Fraud Street logo there. So yeah, looking forward to that. And we have some other events throughout the summer that we're trying to be involved with. I think we have another golf outing that we're looking at putting a sponsored team together in for later this fall. And if there's any other opportunities that some of our listeners know about, certainly send them our way. We can look at trying to contribute. So appreciate everybody calling in and or sending in messages, and feel free to hit Cameron up on any of our mailbag. And if you see us out walking about, don't hesitate to ask us some questions while we're live and in person. So thanks again for joining. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.